A major development in the Ryan Ferguson case means he could walk free in as little as 15 days.
We'll have some local reaction to the decision, including what you had to say on social media when that decision came down. Also, polls opened in Columbia this morning with very little turnout. We'll take a look how that's going to affect the outcomes.
Rain showers, gusty conditions, and cloudy skies expected for 24 more hours here in mid-Missouri before a big change on the way. KOMU 8 News at noon starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News at noon.
In 15 days, Ryan Ferguson could be a free man. Good afternoon, I'm Angie Bailey. The Missouri Western District Court of Appeals decided to overturn Ferguson's murder conviction in an opinion it released early this morning. In 2001, Kent Heitholt was murdered outside the Columbia Tribune. Then in 2005, a jury convicted Ferguson for the murder. But in September 2013, he appealed his case for the second time, leading to the morning's opinion. KOMU 8's Eric Hilt joins us in the studio with the court's decision and what officials will and won't say.
The appeals court looked at all the evidence presented in September's hearing and decided that some evidence that could have helped Ferguson was withheld from the defense. The three presiding judges decided an interview with witness Jerry Trump's wife, Barbara Trump, should have been disclosed to the defense. The opinion reads, quote, "The state failed to disclose favorable evidence." All of this comes from an admission from Jerry Trump that he lied during his original testimony when he said he saw Ryan Ferguson at the scene of the murder. Judge Kevin Crane was a prosecuting attorney in that Ferguson case. When I called him this morning, he said he was currently reading the opinion, but he refused to comment because it was against his judicial ethics. Current prosecuting attorney Dan Knight is also refusing to comment until he talks with Missouri Attorney General Chris Koster and has also read the opinion for himself. The state has 15 days to refile charges against Ferguson. If the state does not refile those charges, Ferguson will walk free. Ferguson's father, Bill Ferguson, and his lawyer, Kathleen Zellner, are holding a news conference at 4:15 at Columbia's Tiger Hotel today. KOMU 8 News will live stream that conference online and over the air.
Since his conviction, thousands of people have been following this case both locally and nationally. KOMU 8's Teague Dooley-Panko is here to tell us what the public had to say about the court's new decision.
Yes, Real Max realtor Becky Sterling works with Ryan Ferguson's father, Bill Ferguson. She says she is ecstatic about the possibility Ryan could be set free. Sterling said the family has been unbelievably strong the last 10 years. She said she believes Ferguson is innocent because no evidence proved anything against him. She said the court needs to give him his life back because he has lost 10 years behind bars.
And there were so many questions, and I watched this family come together and fight like no one I've ever seen, and never give up, and totally believed in Ryan.
Columbia resident Guy Long said he attended most of the first trial and believes Ferguson is innocent too.
The evidence was just so flawed, and the way it was presented was, again, back to very human error of emotional appeals to a jury.
I also spoke with one woman who said she was at the scene of the crime just hours before it happened in 2001. She said since the murder, she has been scared of the area and walking there late at night. She wished to remain unidentified.
And the overturned conviction has social media buzzing, mostly in celebration. Thousands have followed this case since Ferguson was imprisoned, and KOMU 8's Lucas Geisler is in the studio to highlight some of the reaction.
Angie, people across the country use social media as a common place to celebrate the appellate court's decision. Now, the Facebook group here, Free Ryan Ferguson, as you can see, 69,730 people like the Facebook group. And it just goes to show you that this case has certainly spread across the country, has gotten the attention of a lot of people. Let's show you some of the comments here. And again, it's comments from people all over the place. Obviously from Missouri, plenty of reaction there. But you can see comments on this from Virginia, Pennsylvania, California, Washington State. Over a dozen different people, or rather a dozen different states are represented here in the comments on this Facebook group. And now the story has generated plenty of traffic on Twitter as well, as you might imagine. As you can see, lots of people, over thousands of tweets since the appellate court came down with the decision around 8 o'clock this morning. Now, plenty of people giving their reaction here, and a lot of it mostly positive, are celebrating are celebrating both the joy of the day and also Ryan Ferguson's freedom. Now, on the freedom part, to clarify, he's not quite free yet. Lots of people online are misled in celebrating him being released. Now, he will stay in prison for 15 more days. In that time, if the state refiles charges, he will move to the Boone County Jail and await a new trial. But if the state does not act in those 15 days, then he will walk free.
And the man responsible for sexual misconduct at a Columbia park has turned himself in. That's according to Columbia police. They say 26-year-old Brookfield resident Michael Seda turned himself in around 10 last night. He was arrested for felony sexual misconduct involving a child for his role in the September 10th misconduct incident at Bethel Park. The department says Seda became a suspect after he was arrested on October 21st because he exposed himself to others inside of a business. He was arrested for misdemeanor sexual misconduct in the second degree for that incident. Well, a disturbing story out of St. Louis today. A father accused of trying to hire someone to attack and assault his young daughter. Police busted 32-year-old suspect Anthony Brinkman at a Cracker Barrel restaurant in St. Louis. Investigators say Brinkman posted an online ad looking for someone to beat up and rape his 11-year-old daughter as he watched. Brinkman's facing charges of attempted statutory sodomy. A suspected gunman who opened fire inside a New Jersey mall was found dead overnight. Authorities say 20-year-old Richard Shoup fired at least 6 shots inside the Garden State Plaza Mall. Just before they closed Monday night, Shoup's body was found just after 3 a.m. in an area that's under construction. Authorities say it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In Denver, 2 teens are in police custody after breaking into 2 schools carrying what appears to be rifles and a suspicious backpack. They also say, authorities that they entered the high school by breaking a window. Police believe the teens, who don't even go to that school, wanted to burglarize it. Police were later able to locate the backpack and only found a computer inside it. They also say the weapons are most likely BB guns. Idaho fire officials say an electronic cigarette exploded and started a fire while a family of 4 slept in their home. Thanks to the smoke alarm, Jason Burns and his parents were able to quickly put out the fire in the living room with an extinguisher, and the damage was limited. Investigators say an e-cigarette plugged into a laptop to be charged was to blame. Officials say with the popularity of e-cigarettes growing, so are the number of incidents with them. And an industrial plant went up in flames in South Bend last night. It broke out at Atrex Industries around 9:30 Monday night after witnesses reported hearing an explosion. Firefighters worked to bring that massive fire under control and were concerned about the amount of chemicals that are kept in the plant. Several buildings were threatened by the fire. The primary blaze was inside a housing fiberglass materials. Rain still sticking around, makes for a gloomy day out there. Rosie lets us know how long we can expect it to stay.
Thanks, Angie. It's about 24 more hours, and then we're going to put a cap on all of this rainy activity. Certainly see a better breakdown as to everything we can expect with the end of this rain activity coming up in just a few minutes.
Later on KOMU 8 News at noon, a story that will get your taste buds going, how a man took his hobby of baking brownies and turned it into some sweet success. Now his business is getting national attention.